going on, guys? Anakin back again today for my next installment into my Road to Infinity War series, and we have Ant-Man. Now this one is very special because this one is, I would consider, one of the best solo movies in the MCU, but like it doesn't get that much credit because you have ones like Thor, Spider-Man, especially ones like Spider-Man now, and like all the other original Captain Americas and Iron Mans, but it's just Ant-Man, and there's only been one. There's only been one, even though the next one's coming out soon. There's only been one, and I feel like a lot of it gets tossed around that because of this, that some of it may be forgettable and some of it may not. I feel like for me, it's a little bit like I don't remember it as much because of all of the greatness that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I feel like this one was, as when I was watching it, it was surprising that I really found that I had no problems with this movie whatsoever. I really had nothing I didn't like. I even liked the villain. And yeah, he was an average Marvel villain, but I didn't feel like there was anything that made me like him, or that didn't make me hate him or think that he was a bad villain, like say Malekith. Like there really wasn't anything really that bad about this movie. I feel like this was just like, I feel like this is the one Marvel movie that's like that sits right in the middle of, it's not that it has zero problems to me, but it's not like it has zero problems, but it's not really as good as the other ones. It's like the movie that's the perfect medium to be like, yeah, this is just Marvel's typical, not Marvel's typical, but this is Marvel's just superhero movie. If you want to think of it that way, that isn't huge like world ending or anything like that. It's just their heist movie, and I really love what they did with this movie. Ant-Man is such a endearing, fun movie, and I love the casting of Paul Rudd for Scott Lang. I think this is definitely one of his most iconic roles now, go along with all of his comedy career. I think this is definitely one of the funniest Marvel movies of all time too. I think it goes, half of it goes credit to Michael Pena for his work in this movie too. I cannot believe how funny he was. Like just his opening line. This opening line gets me in the van, gets me every time. I love it. I guess we'll talk about the fact of that I really love the plot of that Marvel had the balls to really just like, no, let's not, after Age of Ultron, let's like do a really small story and have a character like Ant-Man, out of all the characters, have Ant-Man be the next one we have, but we're not going to make it a huge world-ending Sokovia incident. We're going to make it all like in this tiny, tiny little heist that has to go into stealing another Ant-Man or Ant-Man-like shrinking suit. And I loved it because it made you really get to see the humanity that Scott has for his daughter, and the love that's there, and the fact that it sucks that he can't, and that he's just trying to make ends meet to hopefully one day actually be able to see her legally, and that's really heartfelt, and that's really like a lot of it is played for like the heart of the movie, which is perfect, which is exactly what it should be. And then you have dual father-daughter storylines with Scott and Cassie, and then you have Hank Pym and Hope. And I love their relationship in this movie too because their relationship personifies. Yeah, because that's the word I was looking for. It embodies what it seems like most mother or not mother daughter. Really, I'm sorry, I cannot talk today. What some or most father-daughter relationships turn out to be because of something that was a falling out in their past, and I thought they portrayed that beautifully. I loved seeing them come together at the end because of of him having to realize that he needs to tell her about Janet. I love that, and I cannot believe, first and foremost, I cannot believe how amazing the visual effects were in this movie because this is the first time we saw big screen shrinking in the MCU, and I think they really wanted to emulate all the shrinking movies that came before, but really make it their own. And I loved how they use all the Pym particles. I love all the ties to the larger cinematic universe, whether it's seeing Peggy Carter and Tony and Anthony Stark in the beginning, or whether it's seeing whether it's he's flying over and he's like, okay, before we can steal this thing, we have to steal this thing in an old abandoned Stark warehouse. And he's like, okay, and he drops down. It's the freaking Avengers facility, and he's like, oh, you son of a, like, seriously, like that was so perfect in the movie because like he has to fight Falcon. Like I remember that was the biggest surprise of this movie because we really weren't expecting it. We were really expecting it to be a really smaller story, and like to have like the freaking Falcon and then Falcon get the crap beat out of him by Ant-Man was so freaking funny. And the fact that he still got it, and the way the whole heist went about, I loved the entire end battle, whether it's the actual heist that goes awry, and then in the end when Darren Cross suits up his yellow jacket, and then the entire end fight scene takes place in a little girl's bedroom. It's freaking awesome. Like, you have Thomas the Tank Engine enlarged to the size of a real train. You have a freaking ant the size of a giant dog, like, just running around. It was so great. I think this movie is one of the funniest of all the MCU movies. I think this movie has one of the most heart of all the MCU movies. And I'm gonna say, like, there's nothing I really don't like about this movie. It's just, I like it. I can't say that I really love it as much as the other ones, because it is really, and that's not a bad thing either, because a lot of it doesn't have a Captain America. It doesn't have a lot of things that make the Marvel movies so endearing for me to watch over and over and over again, is because they have iconic stories, and that the way they were told, and the way that they have portrayed every single one of these movies. But I feel like this was like a good medium, because this was the one wasn't that wasn't aiming to be the next Winter Soldier, or be the next Civil War, or that movie didn't come out yet, next Avengers, whatever, or the next Captain America or Iron Man movie. It just wanted to be its own thing, and it was Ant-Man. I think that's the perfect. I like that as the perfect place for this movie to set. Is that it's just Ant-Man. Like, he's not a huge reality saving or world saving hero. He's just Ant Man, and I loved the way they have further used him in the MCU as well. I really do. I think Paul Rudd has great chemistry with everybody from the Marvel Cinematic Universe that he's got an encounter with in Civil War. I think this is definitely one to go in the books. That is definitely goes down in one of the best solo movies of all time, and I guess we'll see how it ranks. And in when I review, whenever I have to. I guess we'll see how it ranks with all the other MC movies once I'm done reviewing this series. Now, thank you so much for watching. Now, I am so excited, because when I'm filming this is April 1st, or Easter, or April Fool's, whatever you want to think about it, but we are 26 days away from Avengers Infinity War. And oh god, my entire my body can barely contain my excitement, because I have the rest of Phase 3 to finish before Avengers Infinity War, and hopefully by the end of this month I will have reviewed all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.